Let me see. I need to make sure that I pin this comment. Oops, sorry, I had to step away to find something to post. Hey everyone, welcome in. Come on in. Let's see, how do I... There we go. Okay. All right, so while people are coming in, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Falashade Ogemokin. I am the owner of Unscripted TV, which is in the background. It's kind of close. Let me see if I can get it where y'all can see the whole thing. But welcome. That's my amazing son in the background. Just ignore him. But welcome. Hi, everyone who's coming in. Again, my name is Falashade Ogemokin, the owner of Unscripted TV, where we are redefining the narrative surrounding the Black experience through live streaming on our digital platform, which just launched this year. And we're really excited to talk about it and also tell you guys how you can actually get into the whole streaming industry. So really excited to have you on board and to discuss that with you all. All right, so let's see. While I get into it, I'm just gonna introduce myself and who I am, how I got to running Unscripted TV, and then, like how you guys can do the same thing. Or if you have amazing content and you really don't want to do all the hassle and fuss, you can just bring it on over to me. But all right, so I always loved production. While I was a kid, they even called me Oprah Ogemokin. Like, I just grew up talking and knowing that I was going to work in the industry. I went to a high school that had production, like it was actually a production school. It was a tech school where we actually made our own content. And then I even had the chance from that point on to just be like, I want to go full-fledged with this. So I went to Howard University, HU, if you're in the building, put a down there, to study television production. So by studying television production, that was the perfect segue to just be like, look, this is where I'm at. I'm good on camera, but I want to learn the back end of the business. So that's when I really got my hands wet with producing, directing. I'm really good with the behind the scenes stuff. So I knew that I needed to be more in control of the narrative. And then I took my talents to a TV station where reality set in, and it was like, look, this industry is dope and it's really amazing, but it's not really showing everything that you see or that you experience, and there needs to be more. And I kept having this feeling like there's something missing, like they're not hearing me, they're not hearing us. And that was when I was like, look, I'm going to take my talents and I'm going to create my own network, because I keep asking somebody else to invite me in and to let this happen and to do all of this. And the reality is, that's not going to happen. So instead of just asking for permission, I took it upon myself to start figuring out a way to create a streaming platform. By doing that, what I started off with was just doing commercials and videos and small things with small business owners. But then I started hearing stories and I started learning more about how we really do need our own network, because there's so many underrepresented people that are beyond dope. I'm talking about living history, So that's when I just was like, that's it. We're going full out. And back in 2017, it became real. But in 2018, I had a team that we started working on things, and it took a little bit slow. It got really hard. But in 2019, November 1st, I put out a message and I asked people to join my team. I got 200 requests. And then all of a sudden, November 24th, after I went through all the people, I was able to really construct a team that was able to help bring on what we're doing with Unscripted now. And after a year, after going through COVID, after working hard with them throughout all of that, after actually creating 2 productions through COVID, we launched on October 10th, 2020. And that is where we are today. So now we have this launch streaming company where we have amazing content creators from across the globe, where we have viewers from across the globe. And, it's just really like picking up. It's really becoming a really great thing. And I'm excited to be a part of it. So that's the start of this. So the very first thing that we're going to be talking about today is how to start a streaming service. So I just gave you my whole background on how I started off as a little kid, loving Oprah, listening to content, wanting to understand the business even more, and just kind of diving in on it. So the very first thing that I think is really important when you're trying to start a streaming service is to learn the business. And that means that to learn every aspect that you actually care about, and to learn the ways that you want to be a part of it, because there's so many different pieces to this business, but it's so important for you to learn it. And I'm glad that I started my learning experience at a young age through media, and then continued it by going to a tech school, and then continued it by going to Howard University for television production, where I met amazing people that were actually the director of one of the Cosby, like a whole Cosby show, like I was able to get like real knowledge and understanding and information from people. And then of course, becoming a production assistant. Like if you are really just starting off in this, like you want to be in production and you want to own your own streaming company, the very first place to start is as a production assistant, because you'll do every and anything possible, and then you'll understand if you have the grit and the will and the knowledge to really be able to like push it to become whatever it is that you want to be in that industry. But it's always starting off as a production assistant. So learning the business is definitely the most important part when you're getting into this, because it'll tell you whether or not you're ready for it. Some things that I'll say that will help you to learn the business is master classes. Like even if you didn't go to school for television production, you can do master classes. Like I said, you can become a production assistant. You can become an intern. You can just find ways to really get into the rooms with people who have the minds that they've already learned some of this, and they have a lot of information that they can share with you. But yeah, so I'm going to say hi again to everyone. I am Falashade Okimokin, the creator of Unscripted TV, where we're redefining our narratives surrounding the Black community. I just talked about how it's super important to learn the business in the streaming world, the production world, the television entertainment industry, so many aspects. But also what's important is raising capital. So like, here's something that's really fun. This was such a passion project for me, Unscripted, that I kept a full-time job while building it. And I funded this myself. Now, what I will say is, don't do that. Don't do what I did. Do it. I'm telling you this from experience. Do it with capital. Do it with other people's money. Do it with patient capital, with people that actually care about what you're doing, because what I'm doing, I know is important. And it was so important that I decided that I needed to fund it. But the more that I started talking to people, the more that I started talking to investors, the more that I saw that they also knew that it was value in this as well. And the great news is that I did start this before everything that happened with COVID, because as you know, we were working with 2 different pandemics during this situation. And a lot of information started happening where, people wanted more Black content, and we wanted to be able to have access to streaming networks that actually cared about us and our content and our well-being. So therefore, there are a lot of talks that do come up about it. But I will say raising capital is super important if you're going to do something like a heavy lift like this. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of time. And the reality is that starting off on the ground running, you're not going to make as much money as you're expecting. So it's super important to raise capital. Now, what I will say is it's also important to know your why and to know where you want to end up. I don't want to sell. Therefore, when I'm raising capital, some of my conversations are a little bit different with the people that I'm talking to, because some people want to come in with the opportunity to build it up to sell it. Falashade is not selling Unscripted. Unscripted is going to be a part of our community for a very long time, so that we can continue to own our and redefine our narrative as long as we need to. But it is important for you to know your why, to understand the type of people that you are connecting with, and to make sure that you have the proper people on your board so that when you are trying to raise capital and when you are speaking to people who do have the bags, that you are still protecting yourself so that you don't ever get voted out or pushed out or anything like that. But I would say start with family and friends. I know it sounds crazy, and after a while, they're not going to give you any more money, but you start with family and friends, and then you start meandering through your networks and start to come up with people who really do care and can give you even more. But yes, raise capital. Don't do what I did, which is use your own money, because now I'm here and I love it. But whew, it wasn't easy. Okay. but hi to everybody who's just coming in. I'm Falashade Ogemokin, and I'm talking about how to start a streaming service. And I'm specifically speaking about the fact that I just launched Unscripted TV on October 10th, 2020, in the pandemic, in Washington, D.C. And the reason why I'm like recapping all of that right now is because the next talking point, which is super important to me, is the collaboration over competition, finding your team, finding your tribe. If you were here in the beginning, I went through this whole notion of how back in 2012 is when I had the idea to do Unscripted TV with my friend. But then as time went on, I needed to build out a team because a lot of this was me doing this by myself. Thank you, the Black Math Academy. But yeah, no, like I was doing it by myself. And then I finally, on November 1st, 2019, I reached out for a team. And some people were people that I already knew. Some people were people that I found on the internet, you know, like this was like a throwing this ask out there to the world. And the people that came back to me, I promise you, were like heaven sent. Like it was a perfect match. I was able to really relieve myself of some of the things that I was trying to do as one person doing 30,000 jobs. And now I have 10 people that are still doing 30,000 jobs, but we're growing and we're really figuring it out. And I think that is super important to know that your team is your tribe and you have to trust them. You have to want to be able to grow with them, because there are some conversations that you're going to have that are not easy, and this is business. So you have to understand that while doing business, you need to like what you're doing and you need to like who you're around. So finding your tribe, finding your team is super important. And also collaboration over competition is important too, because what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to other people who have streaming companies, and I'm reaching out to other people who are creating content, and we've been able to create even more, to collab even more over this pandemic. I collaborated with a film festival. I'm collaborating with somebody else who has a streaming company. And it's important for you to be able to understand that talking to other people who are doing something similar to you does not mean that they're trying to take anything away from you. We've got to learn how to do that now more than ever. And then another thing is that because of the industry that I'm in and because of the point of what I'm doing, which is redefining the narrative surrounding the Black community, it's important that I show that we can collaborate together. As a matter of fact, what is the day for Kwanzaa? It's probably working together. I forgot what the real word is. But no, seriously, I think that it's really important that you find your team, that you collaborate with other people who are in the industry, who know more than you or know different things than you, and that you continue to build and change out your team. Everyone's not going to stay together, but you need to be able to learn what works, what doesn't work, and to continue to grow and to continue to get it together. Sorry, I'm just looking through, making sure that I don't miss any questions or anything like that. So hello everyone, and welcome. I definitely think that finding your tribe and your team is super important. And by the way, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. And I just see one just popped in. I'm gonna take that question before I hit this next point. I'm gonna take a little break and see what he says. What are the different types of ways to raise capital? Okay, so this is going back to the capital question. The different types of ways to raise capital. There's so many different types of ways. Of course, you can do crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, which is probably the best way if someone's able to do it. I did that a couple times. I failed once, did well the second time, but like I think that crowdsourcing is a great way. That's where you are able to utilize things like GoFundMe, Indiegogo, those types of systems, so that you can actually reach out to people and they can get perks and you can receive money that way to go towards your business. And that they don't take any stake in your business. They're just actually helping you. Another way, of course, is if you do like seed or rounds with investments where they're giving you what we call like patient capital, where they're giving you large amounts of money to help you sustain the growth of your business. But on the back end in the future, they know that they're getting money back. And I mean, that's the main ways. It's just different tiers within it. But of course, crowdsourcing and that. And then of course you can take out loans. You can do it, where you're just getting money from the government, SBA, or wherever you can get money from. And then you can actually like pay it back as you continue to grow. So there are many options. And I mainly did personal money and a little bit of loans. But the reality is like I own this 100% out. Nobody else has any stake in Unscripted TV at all. And I like it that way, because that way we're able to grow and make decisions as we continue to grow. So it's a great place to be. Can we see the questions on the screen? I don't know. How am I supposed to do that? Was I supposed to put it up? Oh, so I guess. I just answered it. I'm so sorry, y'all, but I did answer it. So good. Thank you so much for that. See, obviously I've never done it with the questions, but thanks for coming in. Falasha Day, owner of Unscripted TV. And I just answered that question with the different types of ways to raise capital from Greatness I Am Nails. And the next question is, why is streaming the option to go with? Okay, this is from the Black Math Academy. Why is streaming the option to go with? I mean, to be honest with you, before the pandemic, I knew that streaming was the option to go with, because there's not a lack of Black content. So specifically, I reach out to content creators who are of the Black diaspora. And there is not a lack of Black content. There is so much. There's an abundance of Black content, but there is a barrier to entry for this content to make it into these mainstreams, to make it onto TV, to make it into these other places. And then you have Netflix and all of these other streaming companies that were able to really like bubble. So we're in a position where we have these streaming companies that are doing great. We have these amazing creators that are creating out of the bottom of their hearts and not getting it anywhere. And then we have the opportunity to create our own spaces where we can be like, okay, well, let's do it ourselves. So streaming is the option to go with, because there's no better option. Like there's no better option. And the way that we do Unscripted TV is we do it for free. So if you have content and you want it to be on Unscripted, you can submit it to our amazing onboarding coordinator. We look over it, we check it out, we see if it works with what we're trying to put out there, then we figure out a way to put it on, and it goes up for free. So that means that everybody and their mama can come on and watch Unscripted at the time that you can. There's a chat bar feature. It's super interactive, and you're able to see content that you wouldn't normally see, but then you're also introduced to content that is so amazing, that really draws you in. And I think that it's really dope. And then what's different about like why streaming is the way to go with Unscripted is because it has that interactivity. It's because it's super clean. It's because we represent a diverse group of people, and we try to make sure that we keep them engaged. We do live events on our streaming platform. It's just amazing. Like, it's the best option. But then, like, I'm saying all that without even mentioning COVID. And then we're talking about like the world being shut down, people staying in the house, it not being safe to go out into the world. What you gonna do? You gotta stream. So it's the best opportunity. So I think that was a great question. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep giving like all these reasons. So I'm definitely gonna have to stop on that one. But yeah, no, like, if you do have any other questions, please ask them in the question. This is like the small little question mark, and I'll be able to see those perfectly. But I'm going to reintroduce myself and then get back to the last talking point, which is growing the business. So hi to everyone who just joined in. I am Falashade Okemokin, the creator of Unscripted TV, where we're redefining our narrative surrounding the Black experience by having a 24-hour live streaming platform for free. Yes, and it's literally that spelling, unscripted.tv. Go check it out, everything like that. We have on content all right now. 9 o'clock, we have a show that comes on called Unfriended. Definitely check it out. It's really cool and super interactive. But yeah, I'm excited to be on here with DC Now Events to be able to talk about this small business takeover and to be able to share more about Unscripted and about why it's so important and how we can have even more virtual events on our streaming platform. So let's see. I see another question, but I am going to talk on the growing the business. I think that that's a super important talking point, and one of the things that is an instant response to that is being on other people's platforms and speaking to other people, sharing your story. That is one of the things that really helps with growing a business. Once you finally get your team, once you start collaborating, once you have everything running and flowing and glowing, then you're able to kind of step out, let it run, and start speaking about it. Start letting people know, like being a gospel for your business so that people can know, like, listen, I know that you're begging for a streaming platform that speaks to people of color, or that speaks with people of color, and that shows us in very diverse lights and not all in one monolithic way. Like, we're here, like we're on Unscripted, like come check us out. Like I just have these natural conversations, and that's a great way to grow the business. But also by doing events, by having different types of shows come on, by making sure that you're on other people's platforms, that you're on other people's podcasts, that you're just spreading the word. Like that's one of the biggest things to me, is to be able to talk about it as much as you work about it. So that's probably like my big thing. Man, there's some stuff going on in this in these comments. I'm missing some good stuff. Hold on now. What's going on? Hey, I'm hiring for cheerleaders. What do you think? All right. But no, yeah, so I'm definitely big on making sure that you grow the business. I'm definitely big on making sure that you have a great team. I'm super big on making sure that you figure out how to raise your capital, or how to make sure that you love what you're doing so much that you can go broke for it. And I'm just big on making sure that if you're going to get into the streaming industry, that you know that this is a heavy lift, that this is not an overnight success story, that this is not something that you can just start it and it will happen. Like this is something that's going to take some years, but when it finally does come and when you finally do get those rewards, it feels great, especially when you're doing it for the right reason. And I do feel like I'm doing it for the right reason, because I love all of my creators. But I got another question, so I'm about to check those out. Okay, how does sponsorship work with your company? Let's put that on up from Nils. How does sponsorship work with your company? Great question. So like I said, Unscripted is free $99 for people to watch. But the way that we work is we collaborate with businesses. So if we have a show that features candles all the time, like maybe they're always sitting down and using candles, and you have a candle company, you would want to sponsor that show, and we would do a great package and a great partnership with you, and then we would be able to run your 30 to 60 second commercial. So, sorry, I got a phone call. I thought I put it on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, so therefore we have it where we have sponsorships, and we have it where we have advertisements. And I do have a really dope package out right now, actually, where you can hop on that, where we have a really dope deal. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so good. Like if you're interested in that, you're going to have to send me an email so I can just send you the whole link to it. Because if I start putting that out, everyone's going to be trying to jump on it. And it's only for a few more days. And we have a live show that's coming up on New Year's where you'd be able to actually advertise and sponsor with that. It's super quick, but like definitely get in on that. So yeah, it works where we working with companies and we partner up with them. We match them up with certain shows, or they take over with certain sections of the actual platform, and we're able to make sure that we keep up with their analytics and let them know like how well their commercials are doing. And we can also cross promote by using it on social media. So that's how we operate. Let's see, what else do we got? We got wait. I'm not sure what you mean. So hit me in the DM so I can understand what you're saying. Okay. I think that's it for the questions. All right. So that was most of the questions. I definitely want to see if anyone else has any other questions. And also, I guess I can give you another update on like how Unscripted runs and what we have that's coming up. So basically, if you go to www.unscripted.tv, you can check out what we have on that's live. Again, like tonight, we have a show that comes on that's called Unfriended, comes on at 9 p.m. And then on New Year's Eve, we're actually doing like a New Year's Eve event. So we have shows on all the time. We have steady shows that come on certain days of the week that are just like launching and just coming on. And then we also have these amazing packages where people will be able to come on and have their commercials run and be able to actually sponsor shows and sponsor events like the live events that we do on Unscripted. Like people will be able to actually do things. That's a hint, hint, wink, wink to DC Now events too. But Unfriended sounds like a movie I saw. Yeah, so there is a movie that's called Unfriended that was about like these kids that were playing on the computer. This Unfriended is literally about social media. It's where two people come on this show with this comedian and they talk about why they're beefing online. And then the audience, you guys, get to decide whether or not they should stay friends or they should unfriend each other. Like they do come up with their own decision if they're going to friend each other or not. But you get to interact to like hear their story play out and be like, yeah, nah, I'm unfriending her. So it's actually a really interesting show. I think you should check it out tonight. Oh, tonight is a good one. It's a really good one about some best friends. So definitely check it out. I think you might relate to it. It's super cool. And so we do live stream, which means that we program the content out. So it's similar to how ABC, NBC, Fox News, how everyone on regular TV or old school traditional TV does. We do programming content. So we're programming it out and we're trying to continue to build out content so that way when you want to hop on the TV at 8 o'clock and watch something, you can watch something that you actually care about without having to search through a whole bunch of different things. And you also get to interact with other people while you're watching it. We have lower thirds that pop up on the screen. We have questionnaires. We have polls. We have so much interactivity that brings together the best of social media and the best of traditional TV into one space for free. So that's why I really love Unscripted, and that's why I really think that it's definitely going to be a great redefining narrative in our community. And I definitely think that y'all should check it out. And then, I think that you guys are great, and I hope that you guys follow me and check me out because, of course, we got some cool things that are coming up. But just for anyone who's just now hopping back in, my name is Falashade Ogemokin, the creator of Unscripted TV. We just launched on October 10th, 2020. So that's 10/10/2020, magical number. And so we just started getting things rolling. We got this started in the pandemic. The show that I just told you about, Unfriended, we recorded during the pandemic without ever meeting each other. Like it was all virtual. I was the technical director, queuing it up and figuring things out. Like it was really amazing. It's really fun. I think that one of the things that I didn't talk about in my talking points when it comes to starting a streaming industry is to have an open mind and always learn something new, because you won't be able to do everything, but you can learn a lot. And it's best that you know how to do something so that when you do have to hire somebody else, that they can take over it and do it the right way. And you know, like, you're not doing that right, or you're doing it perfectly. So I do think that having an open mind and learning how to do stuff is super important, and even figuring out those pivots, because this year was nothing but a pivot, but it was really dope and it was fun, and I'm glad that I was able to. So I appreciate all of you guys for coming on here, learning about Unscripted, and really learning about how to start your own streaming company. The talking points that we went through are kind of self-explanatory, but they're all important. Learning the business, raising capital, collaboration over competition, finding your team and your tribe, and growing your business. And I wish any of you the best of luck, especially if you are trying to start your own streaming company. I also would love to connect with you if you do have an idea, or if you even have a business that you would like to collaborate with Unscripted and be on our network. We do have a lot of really dope features that are important to the community. Like you can set up your items in our storefront. People can buy it without ever leaving the app, and they can actually be connected to it from your commercials. There's so many things that interact with what we're doing, and which is why I think that is so important. But like I said, if you are trying to start your own streaming company, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here to connect and to help and to grow and to be a open door for somebody else to be able to take the next leap. So it was really a pleasure talking to you and connecting with you. And okay, hold on, wait, I got one more question. I'm gonna take this one last question, then we'll go. Is the content for a specific audience or age dynamic? Whenever you start a company, you always need to know your target audience. So we do have a target audience of 20 to 55 African American. However, we were looking at our analytics, and we have a pretty broad group, but it looks like we're averaging from like 25 to 40. So yes, it is for a specific audience and age dynamic. It's for Black people across the diaspora, and it seems like we're fitting into the 25 to like 50 age range. But the goal is to continue to build out this network, to have all different types of channels, to be able to show the variations of Black people across the diaspora, so that we can be able to tap into all of the different narratives and all of the different stories. So yes, that was a great question, and it was a great way to end. Please go check out Unscripted right now. We have some content that's on at this moment. And again, like I said, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll have Unfriended on. And yeah, like this is just the beginning. We just launched in October. We're just getting started. We would love to have you on board. We would love for you guys to check it out. And again, I would love to connect with you all. So thank you for joining. I hope that you all have a great day and a super happy new year. I'm out. Bye, y'all.